Reasons for passenger plane crash introduction. Air travel is one of the safest ways to travel in the modern world. Every day, thousands of planes fly across the globe, carrying millions of passengers safely to their destinations. The chances of being in a plane crash are extremely small, much smaller than being hurt in a car accident. However, when plane crashes do happen, they often make big news because they can affect many people at once and seem very scary to those who hear about them. Understanding why planes crash is important for several reasons. First, it helps engineers and safety experts make flying even safer by fixing problems before they cause accidents. Second, it helps airline companies train their pilots and crew better. Third, it gives passengers knowledge about flying so they can feel more confident when they travel. Finally, it helps government agencies create better rules and safety standards for the aviation industry. Plane crashes usually don't happen because of just one problem. Many things often go wrong at the same time, which creates a chain of events. If even one of these issues had been fixed in time, the crash might not have happened. Modern airplanes have many safety systems designed to prevent accidents, but these systems can sometimes fail when too many problems happen together. This is why crashes are rare, but still possible. There are many different causes of plane crashes. These can include mistakes by the pilots or crew, engine or mechanical problems, bad weather, airport issues, air traffic control errors, and even bird strikes or terrorism. Sometimes poor maintenance or design flaws can also lead to trouble. After every crash, experts investigate what went wrong and share their findings. This helps make flying safer with better technology, stronger rules, and improved training for everyone involved. Pilot error and human factors. One of the most common reasons for plane crashes is pilot error, which means mistakes made by the people flying the plane. Pilots are highly trained professionals who spend years learning how to fly safely. But they are still human beings who can make mistakes. These errors can happen for many reasons, such as being very tired, feeling stressed, not communicating well with other crew members, or making wrong decisions during emergencies. Sometimes pilots might misread their instruments or not follow proper procedures. For example, a pilot might accidentally put the plane into a dangerous position or fail to respond correctly when warning systems alert them to problems. Modern airlines work hard to prevent pilot error by requiring regular training, limiting how many hours pilots can work, and using computer systems that help pilots make better decisions. They also encourage pilots to work as a team and speak up if they notice something wrong. Mechanical failures. Planes are very complex machines with thousands of parts that must work together perfectly. Sometimes these parts can break or stop working properly, leading to mechanical failures. These failures can affect different systems on the plane, such as the engines that provide power, the flight controls that help steer the plane, the landing gear that helps the plane take off and land, or the electrical systems that power important equipment. For example, if an engine stops working during flight, the plane might lose power and have trouble staying in the air. If the flight controls break, the pilots might not be able to steer the plane properly. Most modern planes are designed so that if one system fails, backup systems can take over. However, sometimes multiple systems fail at the same time, or the backup systems don't work as expected. Regular maintenance and inspections help prevent many mechanical failures, but they cannot eliminate all risks. Weather-related causes. Bad weather is another major cause of plane crashes. Weather conditions that can be dangerous for flying include thunderstorms with strong winds and lightning, heavy rain or snow that makes it hard to see, ice that can build up on the plane's wings and make it difficult to fly, strong crosswinds that can push the plane off course during takeoff or landing, and severe turbulence that can damage the plane or injure people inside. Fog is particularly dangerous because it makes it very difficult for pilots to see the runway when trying to land. Wind shear, which is a sudden change in wind direction or speed, can also cause serious problems, especially when planes are taking off or landing. Modern planes have weather radar systems that help pilots avoid dangerous storms, and airports have weather monitoring equipment that provides up-to-date information. However, weather can change quickly and sometimes catch pilots by surprise. Air traffic controllers and airlines work together to delay or cancel flights when weather conditions become too dangerous. Air traffic control errors. Air traffic controllers are the people who help guide planes safely through the sky and at airports. They use radar and radio communication to tell pilots when it's safe to take off, land, or change direction. Sometimes these controllers can make mistakes that lead to dangerous situations. For example, they might accidentally tell two planes to use the same runway at the same time, or give a pilot wrong directions that put the plane in the path of another aircraft. These errors can happen because controllers are handling many planes at once, working long hours, using outdated equipment, or not communicating clearly with pilots. Miscommunication between pilots and controllers is also a problem. Sometimes the pilot doesn't hear the controller correctly, or the controller doesn't understand what the pilot is saying. Modern air traffic control systems use advanced computer technology to help prevent these errors, and controllers receive extensive training. However, air traffic is becoming busier each year, which puts more pressure on the system and increases the chance of mistakes. Airport and runway issues. Problems at airports can also cause plane crashes. These issues might include runways that are in poor condition with cracks or holes. Foreign objects like tools or debris left on runways that can damage planes. Inadequate lighting that makes it hard for pilots to see at night or in bad weather. Or poor runway design that doesn't give pilots enough space to land safely. Sometimes there are problems with ground equipment, such as fuel trucks or baggage carts that accidentally get in the way of moving aircraft. Airport construction work can also create hazards if it's not managed properly. In some cases, airports might be built in locations that are naturally dangerous, such as areas with strong crosswinds, nearby mountains that create dangerous air currents, or flight paths that go over heavily populated areas. Regular inspection and maintenance of airport facilities help prevent many of these problems. But airports are large, complex operations where things can go wrong. Good communication between airport workers, air traffic controllers, and flight crews is essential for safe operations. Terrorism and sabotage. Unfortunately, some plane crashes are caused by deliberate acts of violence or terrorism. This can include bombs placed on planes, hijacking where criminals take control of the aircraft, or attacks on planes using weapons. These incidents are relatively rare compared to other causes of crashes, but they can be devastating when they occur. The aviation industry has responded to these threats by implementing strict security measures at airports, including screening all passengers and their belongings, restricting what items can be brought onto planes, and having air marshals on some flights. Airlines and airports also work closely with law enforcement agencies to identify potential threats. Cockpit doors have been reinforced to prevent unauthorized entry, and pilots receive training on how to handle security threats. While these measures have made flying much safer from terrorism, the threat still exists, and security procedures continue to evolve as new risks are identified. Bird strikes and foreign object damage. Birds and other flying objects can cause serious damage when they hit planes, especially during takeoff and landing when planes are flying at lower altitudes. Bird strikes happen when birds fly into the plane's engines, windshield, or other parts. Large birds or flocks of birds can cause engines to fail or break windows, creating dangerous situations for pilots and passengers. Other objects that can cause damage include drones, weather balloons, or debris blown by strong winds. Airports try to reduce bird strikes by using various methods to keep birds away from flight paths, such as sound devices, trained birds of prey, or habitat modification. However, it's impossible to eliminate all birds from airport areas. Modern plane engines are designed to withstand impacts from small birds, but large birds or multiple bird strikes can still cause serious problems. Pilots are trained to handle bird strike situations, and planes undergo regular inspections to check for damage that might not be immediately visible. Maintenance and inspection failures. Proper maintenance is crucial for keeping planes safe, but sometimes maintenance work is not done correctly, or important problems are missed during inspections. This can happen when maintenance workers are not properly trained, when they are working under time pressure, when the wrong parts are used, or when paperwork is not completed accurately. Sometimes maintenance errors actually create new problems. For example, if a part is installed incorrectly, or if maintenance tools are left inside the plane where they can cause damage. Inspection failures occur when problems that should have been found and fixed are missed by maintenance crews. This might happen because the inspection procedures are not followed properly, the equipment used for testing is not working correctly, or the maintenance workers don't have enough experience to recognize certain types of problems. Airlines are required to follow strict maintenance schedules and procedures, and maintenance workers must be specially trained and certified. However, The pressure to keep planes flying on schedule sometimes leads to shortcuts or rushed work that can compromise safety. Design and manufacturing defects. Sometimes plane crashes are caused by problems with how the plane was designed or built. These defects might not be discovered until after many planes have been built and put into service. Design flaws can affect any part of the plane, from the basic structure to complex computer systems. For example, there might be a weakness in the plane's frame that only becomes apparent after many years of use, or a software problem in the flight control computers that only occurs under certain rare conditions. Manufacturing defects happen when planes are not built according to the design specifications. For example, if parts are made from the wrong materials, if components are not assembled correctly, or if quality control processes fail to catch problems. When design or manufacturing defects are discovered, aviation authorities can order airlines to fix the problems or even ground entire fleets of planes until the issues are resolved. Plane manufacturers invest heavily in testing and quality control to prevent these problems, but the complexity of modern aircraft means that some defects may not be discovered until planes have been in service for some time. Ground operations and ground crew errors. Many important safety activities happen on the ground before planes take off. Ground crew members fuel the planes, load baggage and cargo, perform pre-flight inspections, and guide planes to and from gates. Mistakes made by ground crew can lead to serious accidents. For example, if the wrong type or amount of fuel is loaded, the plane might not be able to fly properly, or might run out of fuel during flight. If baggage or cargo is not loaded correctly, it can shift during flight and affect the plane's balance. If pre-flight inspections are not done properly, important problems might be missed. Ground crew also use vehicles and equipment around planes, and accidents can happen if this equipment hits the plane or if ground crew members are injured. Communication problems between ground crew and flight crews can also lead to dangerous situations. Airlines train their ground crew extensively and use standard procedures to reduce these risks. But ground operations involve many people working together in a busy environment where mistakes can happen. Conclusion: plane crashes are very sad events that can happen because of many different problems working together. Even though flying is still one of the safest ways to travel, knowing about these risks helps make flying even safer. The most common causes of crashes include mistakes by pilots, engine or system failures, bad weather, air traffic control errors, airport issues, and poor maintenance. Less common reasons include terrorism, birds hitting planes, design problems, and mistakes on the ground. Over time, flying has become much safer thanks to better technology, stricter safety rules, and improved training for everyone involved. Planes today have backup systems, pilots are trained more carefully, and maintenance is done more often and checked closely. But as air travel grows and planes get more advanced, new problems can appear. The aviation industry must keep improving to stay safe. Everyone involved, from pilots to ground workers, has a big job in protecting passengers and preventing accidents.